All right, so officially welcome, John, to this evening session.
Yep, hi John.
Nice to see you again, and we'll just go straight into the text, shall we?
Yeah.
Share my screen. So let me know if you can see this. Where are we?
Practicing the holy instant.
Yeah, that's what this one's called.
Yeah. I have read through it,
Yeah.
and it's paragraph 7 and the start of paragraph 9 that intrigued me.
Okay, so we've got a bit of a way to go before we get there.
Yes. They're the starting point of a good discussion, I think.
Okay. Sounds good. So let's dive into lessons. So there's the. It's gonna, as we go, try and produce some kind of document for this. So if you want to start with number one, the first paragraph, read that, and then we'll do a translation.
This course is not beyond immediate learning unless you believe that what God wills takes time. And this means only that you would rather delay the recognition that his will is so. The holy instant is this instant and every instant. The one you want it to be, it is. The one you would not have it be is lost to you. You must decide when it is. Delay it not. But beyond the past and future where you will not find it, it stands in shimmering readiness for your acceptance. Yet you cannot bring it into glad awareness while you do not want it. For it holds the whole release from littleness.
Okay. So let's do a little translation of that. I've done done a little replace to help speed things up. So I'm going to go into okay. So you want to read the alternative and any translations that need there.
Okay. This course is not beyond immediate learning unless you believe that what pure formless awareness of perfect love wills takes time. And this means only that you would rather delay the recognition that its will is so. The holy instant is this instant and every instant. The one you want it to be, it is. The one you would not have it be is lost to you. You must decide when it is, delay it not. For beyond the past and future where you will not find it, it stands in shimmering readiness for your acceptance. Yet you cannot bring it into gladness, into glad awareness, while you do not want it. For it holds the whole release from littleness. Actually, the whole paragraph just echoes what we were just saying about modern day attitudes to death, really.
Stands in shimmering readiness, the holy instant. Because actually, death is a portal to this other transcendent reality. It's an opening into that. So if you've denied that reality in your belief, then you don't really know what to do with death. So you have a culture that doesn't really know what to do with death. So ends up just trying to overlook it, deny it, rather than actually embracing it. Say, okay, well, we're all going to die, so let's talk about it. Let's prepare for it. Let's use it, for our awakening. Some of the Buddhist monks apparently go and actually sit and meditate in morgues.
Oh, right.
So it's a practice. So you meditate in the presence of death, because then you're preparing for your own death, preparing your mind. So they don't shy away from it. Now in the West, you go, what, are they sick? That's kind of some kind of sick practice that you're going to go and sit in a morgue with dead bodies and meditate, because it's a culture that doesn't want to face death. But if you face it consciously, then it's an opening to another world, another dimension. So why would you not want to embrace it? But if it's a portal to eternity, then hallelujah, bring it on.
Yeah.
So that's sort of more the Eastern idea. Not all Eastern cultures, but are much more open to the idea, and not viewing it as some kind of terrible tragedy, or some kind of punishment, or some kind of failure. I mean, the West is like, you've died and you've failed. I mean, this is ridiculous. Somehow, that's what a scientific materialist worldview does. And actually, what you've done is just laid your body aside and gone back into an incorporeal state, which is your natural state. So it's not a failure; it's your natural state to be out, not in the body.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good way of seeing it.
Ram Dass, who did a lot of work with dying people, terminally ill dying people. And he got some advice from a guide called Emil, who's some entity on the other side. And he said, what do you have to say about death? And he said, just know, and you can tell everyone that it's absolutely safe. Death is just, there's really nothing to be worried about. It's so safe because you're just going back into your natural state of mind, actually laying aside what is an unnatural device. The body is unnatural invention of the ego mind. So to lay that aside, to let that go, would surely just be a huge relief. Oh, thank God I don't have this body that I'm seeming to live in anymore, and having to deal with these body illusions of physical senses and a world outside of me, and sickness and suffering and aging and ultimately death. That's all behind me. Okay, so
yeah,
number
good.
one, do you want to give a little summary of that? What is he saying in that paragraph?
Is saying the holy instant is available to us when we choose to have it, when we choose to enter it.
Yeah, that's a short summary, pretty much. So it's up to us, it is whichever instant you want it to be. So the holy instant is really just being in the now, being completely present in the now.
Yeah.
If you read the previous, when was it? It was yesterday's, I think, littleness versus magnitude.
Yeah.
He talks quite a lot about the holy instant as a kind of a moment of grace, where you get a glimpse into this transcendent dimension, into this transcendent world. And Iona actually shared because we were mentioning it, she then shared an experience that she'd had where she actually had that kind of almost a mystic experience of just connecting in with vast wholeness while she was sitting on the beach. And he actually described it, exactly what that experience is like as the holy instant. She said, "Oh, okay, well, that I'm very glad I'm reading this, because I now recognize what it was. Actually, that experience was a holy instant.
Yeah.
Being completely in the now, and in that instant, just kind of penetrating through the veil, through the illusion of time and space, and seeing beyond that. That's really what the holy instant is." Okay, so happy with number one.
Yep.
Second one.
Your practice must therefore rest upon your willingness to let all littleness go. The instant in which magnitude dawns upon you is but as far away as your desire for it. As long as you desire it not and cherish littleness instead, by so much is it far from you. By so much as you want it, will you bring it nearer. Think not that you can find salvation in your own way and have it. Give over every plan you have made for your salvation in exchange for God's. His will content you, and nothing else can bring you peace. The peace is of God and no one beside him.
Okay.
So your practice must therefore rest upon your willingness to let all littleness go. The instant in which magnitude dawns upon you is but as far away as your desire for it. As long as you desire it not and cherish littleness instead, by so much is it far from you. By so much as you want it, by so much as you want it, by so much as you want, it will bring it nearer.
No, by so much as you want it. That's what he's talking about.
By so much as you want it,
will
you bring it nearer? Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Think not that you can find salvation in your own way and have it. Give over every plan you have made for your salvation in exchange for pure formless awareness of perfect loves.
Okay, let's see if we do a bit of translation here. Do not think that you can find salvation, and salvation is?
Oh, blimey. Yeah, what is salvation? Salvation is the return to at-one-ment, realization of at-one-ment.
We call it awakening typically.
Oh, yeah, the awakening. Yeah.
Awakening.
You can find awakening.
I didn't do that translation. Awakening.
Awakening in your own way.
Do not think you can find awakening in your own way and have it. Okay, so you're not going to get to awakening yourself. Maybe some of this, as long as you desire it not and cherish littleness instead, as long as you do not desire it. I think it just makes it easier to read, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As long as you do not desire it and cherish littleness instead, by so much is it far from you.
Yeah.
So you do not desire it and cherish littleness. To that extent, by so much.
Oh, yeah, okay.
To that extent, is it removed from you?
Yep. Okay, good.
Happy with that? And to the extent you want it, will you bring it nearer? So much as you want it. Could leave by so much. Or to the extent that you want it, you'll bring it nearer. Maybe just leave it as by so much as you want it.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Not think that you can find awakening in your own way and have it. Give over every plan you've made for your
awakening in exchange for pure formless awareness.
In exchange for, let's just make that shorter, perfect loves. Its will content you, right? So he's talking about its plan, presumably.
Yeah.
Let's put in plan there. Then. Its plan will content you, and nothing else can bring you peace. Peace comes from pure formless awareness of perfect love, and no one beside it. That maybe needs to change, and nothing else. From pure formless awareness of perfect love and nothing else. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Right. So if you want to read that through, just make sure it makes sense.
Your practice must therefore rest upon your willingness to let all littleness go. The instant in which magnitude dawns upon you is but as far away as you desire. As long as you do not desire it and cherish littleness instead, to that extent is it removed from you. By so much as you want it, will you bring it nearer. Do not think that you can find awakening in your own way and have it. Give over every plan you have made for your awakening in exchange for perfect love. Its plan will content you, and nothing else can bring you peace. But peace comes from pure formless awareness of perfect love and nothing else.
We'll just change that back to far. I think far might be far and nearer. Okay. Well, any thoughts on that?
Well, he's bringing back in this idea of letting go of littleness and not cherishing it, because that keeps us away from the holy instant. I think
maybe this is but is only instead of but is only as far away as your desire for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just reinforcing the fact that the perfect love's plan is the one that will take us home.
Yeah.
Kind of work.
Well, the two key points there are, however much you desire this, you desire the truth, then that's how close you are to it.
Yeah.
But if you don't desire it and you desire something else, to that extent is it far away from you. And then saying that you can never find awakening in your own way, that you have to let go of your plan and accept the plan of perfect love.
Yeah.
Because only that is going to work, and only that's going to make you content. And peace only comes from this pure formless awareness of perfect love, and nothing else. So again, the message is just nothing else is going to work. So dedicate your whole mind to this path, commit to it, and then you will be brought closer and closer to the truth. So eventually, you merge with it, you become one with it. Okay, happy with number 2?
Yeah. Can we just break for a second, Jono?
Yeah, no problem.
Just pop to the bathroom.
No problem at all.
All right, sorry, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back. So where are we? Back in Telegram. All right. So where were we? Number 3, I think.
Number 3, yeah. Be humble before him and yet great in him. And value no plan of the ego before the plan of God. For you leave empty your place in his plan, which you must fill if you would join with me, by your decision to join in any plan but his. I call you to fulfill your holy part in the plan that he has given to the world for its release from littleness. God would have his host abide in perfect freedom. Every allegiance to a plan of salvation apart from him diminishes the value of his will for you in your mind. And yet it is your mind that is the host to him.
Okay. Let's just copy this. Where are we? Make sure we got the right one. Okay, so you want to read the alternative?
I said, what are you doing there, John? Have you got a kind of a substitute thing going in? I see switch some of the words.
Yes, I've already changed some of the words. translated some of the words. So you can do a replace function in Word, which is quite useful.
Yeah.
I did that so I don't have to type it all. It speeds it up a bit. So
Yeah. Okay, be humble before it and yet great in it. That's an interesting statement, that one. Be humble before it and yet great in it. So I would translate that as being be respectful unto it, be in awe of it, but yet fulfilled by it.
Yeah, so you're humble before it because you realize that it is the ultimate power and you are just a part of that. So you surrender. Being humble means you surrender to it.
Yeah.
As your source. So that's what humility means. And yet great in it. So in that experience of total surrender, there is a greatness, a magnificence, as we translate it, a glory. He calls it glory, magnificence. There's a state of mind that is great.
Yeah.
We're not talking about any kind of greatness on the level of form, like great accomplishments or not that kind of greatness. An expansive awareness, expanded awareness, states of love and peace and joy. That's what's great in it. That's what makes you great in it. So the experience is a great experience.
Yeah.
But again, great. Could maybe change greatness. I think that's a word that's been misused a lot.
Magnificent, or
Be humble before it and yet magnificent in it. Yeah, good work.
enhanced, or no, that's not strong enough, is it?
Yet exalted.
Yeah.
Great in it, exalted in it, magnificent in it. We translated glory as magnificence, so maybe we should stick with that.
And yet magnificent.
Because great is typically associated with the ego as kind of great.
Yeah, that's good. And value no plan of the belief in separation before the plan of pure form's awareness of perfect love. For you leave the plan of perfect. Yeah, good. For you leave empty your place in its plan, which you must fill if you would join with me. Oh yeah, okay. For you leave your place in its plan empty, which you must fill if you want join with me. Yeah, good. By your decision to join in any plan but its.
Some of that comma there. Okay, I see what it was. For you leave your place in its plan empty, which you must fill if you want to join with me by your decision to join in any plan, but leave your place in love's plan. I think it needs a love there, doesn't it? So if you leave your place in perfect love's plan, all of this "it's" doesn't really.
No.
He uses him and his, but we're translating it. So, your place in perfect love's plan empty, which you must fill if you want to join with me by your decision to join in any other plan but love's.
Yeah, that's good.
I think it just has a better ring. Okay.
Yeah. I call you to fulfill your holy part in the plan that it has given to the world for its release from littleness. Yep, that's good. Pure formless awareness of perfect love would have its host abide in perfect freedom. I think that's okay. Every allegiance to a plan of awakening, apart from it, diminishes the value of its will for you in your own mind.
Mind, maybe awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is your awareness that is closest to it. Most to Okay, so you want to read it through? Let's just read it again.
Yeah. Be humble before it and yet magnificent in it, and value no plan of the belief in separation before the plan of perfect love. For you leave your place in perfect love's plan empty, which you must fill if you want to join with me, by your decision to join in any plan but perfect love. I call you to fulfill your holy part in the plan that pure formless awareness of perfect love has given to the world for its release from littleness. Pure formless awareness of perfect love would have its host abide in perfect freedom. Every allegiance to a plan of awakening apart from it diminishes the value of its will for you in your own awareness. And yet it is your awareness that is the host to pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Well, you think anything needs to change? Maybe we've got a couple more. Let me just make that a bit neater. The holy part and the plan that perfect love is given to the world for its release from littleness. Perfect love, its host abide in perfect freedom. Which is the value of its will for you in your own awareness, and it is your awareness that is host to pure formless awareness of perfect love. And we got it twice, so it kind of connects. I think we'll keep the pure formless awareness of perfect love. Happy with that?
Yep.
Okay, I'll give a little summary of it.
Well, I mean, it's coming. I mean, it's saying the same thing again. To follow the plan of perfect oneness of pure formless awareness. Be humble before it and yet magnificent in it. Let it merge with it and let it come through us.
Yeah.
And just keep letting go of these ideas of littleness.
And the plan, to just stick to the plan. It's saying that there is a perfect love has a plan and for your awakening, and no other plan will work. So just stick to the plan.
Yeah.
Diminishes the value of its will for you. So if we have allegiance to other plans, then we cannot be in pure formless awareness. Okay, so any other thoughts on that? Are you happy with it?
I'm good with that.
Okay. Moving on to number 4.
Perhaps you have been aware of lack of competition among your thoughts, which, even though they may conflict, can occur together and in great numbers. You may indeed be so used to this that it causes you little surprise. Yet, you are also...
Hang on. I got the right one, sorry. Let's just make sure, because I'm just copying and pasting.
Okay.
From, so make sure we get the right section, although you wouldn't know it, would you? It's like...
Sounded all right.
You could probably, yeah, exactly. You'd probably chop the course up quite a lot and still sort of have some kind of intelligible thing going on. Okay, so it's there. Alternatively, I'll just get the original for you. Paste it in here. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so there's number 4. There's the original. Do you want to read that?
Would you learn how perfect and immaculate is the holy altar on which our Father has placed himself? This you will recognize in the holy instant, in which you willingly and gladly give other every plan but his. For there lies peace, perfectly clear because you have been willing to meet its conditions. You can claim the holy instant any time and anywhere you want it. In your practice, try to give over every plan you have accepted for finding magnitude in littleness. It is not there. Use the holy instant only to recognize that you alone cannot know where it is and can only deceive yourself.
Okay. Alternatively,
would you learn how perfect and immaculate is the holy altar?
Yeah, altar is?
Altar is foundation.
Hmm.
Would you learn how perfect and immaculate is the holy foundation on which your source has placed itself?
Yeah.
This you recognize.
Can we say that differently?
Would you learn how perfect and immaculate is the holy foundation on which your source?
Which your source has placed itself is. Maybe put at the end there, and on which your source holy foundation, which your source rests. Holy foundation How about that?
You learn how perfect and immaculate the holy foundation that is your source.
Holy foundation that is your source is. Yeah, okay. Immaculate, the holy foundation that is your source. Holy foundation. What do you think? Or should we keep the original?
Really, how about really is? Would you learn how perfect and immaculate the holy foundation of your source really is?
Do you want to learn? This you will recognize in the holy instant. Instead of recognize, maybe learn. This you will learn.
Mm.
You will learn. You will learn this in the holy instant. Because he's talked about, do you want to learn?
Yeah.
You will learn this in the holy instant, in which you willingly and gladly give over every plan but its. Learn this in the holy instant, in which you willingly and gladly give over every plan. And give up every plan. Give instead of giving over. What do you think?
Yes. Give up.
Give up every plan except perfect loves. There lies peace, perfectly clear, because you've been wanting to meet its conditions. Conditions of peace are oneness. Okay, happy with that? Number 3.
Yeah.
There lies peace, perfectly clear, because you've been wanting to meet its conditions. You can claim the holy instant any time and anywhere you want it. We'll practice, try to give over every plan. Give up, maybe let go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's better, let go.
That's better.
To let go of every plan you've accepted for finding magnitude in littleness. It is not there. You never find magnitude. Use the holy instant only to recognize you alone cannot know where it is and can only deceive yourself. So the holy instant is almost a total letting go of any idea that you're in control of this.
Yeah.
When we're saying, I don't really know, I don't really understand. I've just deceived myself, and I'm willing to kind of let it all go, and just see the the vast intelligence that is the spirit that's there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to read that from the top.
You want to learn how perfect and immaculate the holy foundation of your source really is. You will learn this in the holy instant, in which you willingly and gladly give up every plan except perfect love. But there lies peace, perfectly clear because you have been willing to meet its conditions. You can claim the holy instant anytime and anywhere you want it. In your practice, try to let go of every plan you have accepted for finding magnitude in littleness. It is not there. Use the holy instant only to recognize that you alone cannot know where it is and can only deceive yourself.
Okay, any thoughts on that? You give a little summary.
I mean, it's saying the same thing again, that we can claim connection with source through the holy instant by letting go of littleness, finding magnitude, and letting go of all other plans.
I think that's really the key, saying that the openness, the willingness to let go of every other plan is what opens you to the holy instant.
Yeah.
So as long as you've got other plans going on, then your mind's occupied with those. And the vast, spacious awareness that is revealed in the holy instant eludes you. You can't find that spacious awareness in time. You use it only to recognize that you alone cannot know where it is and can only deceive yourself. So that's interesting. The holy instant's only purpose is to recognize that, I don't know anything. Like I alone cannot know where it is. Or finding magnitude in littleness. It is not there. So talking about magnitude, use the holy instant only to recognize that you alone cannot know where it is and can only deceive yourself. Okay? Happy with that?
Yeah.
We're moving on to number 5. Have we got the right one here? No, we just need to go and grab it quickly. Oh, actually, what happened to number 5? That's a good question. Because that's number 6. We've just done 4, haven't we?
We just did 5.
Yes. No, we did 4.
Oh, did we? Right.
Yeah. We seem to have lost number 5, but that's okay. So we'll just go there. I'll pick up number 5. I think I must have cut it out. Control Z. There we go. There's number 5. Okay. So if you read the original and then the translation.
I stand within the holy instant, as clear as you would have me. And the extent to which you learn to accept me is the measure of the time in which the holy instant will be yours. I call to you to make the holy instant yours at once, for the release from littleness in the mind of the host of God depends on willingness and not on time.
Okay. So I stand within the holy instant.
As clear as you would have me, as clear as you would have me. And the
Have me be, I think.
Yeah.
As clear as you want me to be.
Yes.
The extent to which you learn to accept me is the measure of the time in which the holy instant will be yours. So the more we accept Yeshua and what he represents, I stand. Could translate that, and then the sense of the sentence will change. So I stand, the Christ stands. The one self stands within the holy instant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Your true self stands in the holy instant. Your true self rests in the holy instant. Your true self
Exists.
how about is available?
Oh, yeah.
That work? Your true self is available within the holy instant.
Yeah.
As clear as you want it to be. The extent to which you learn to accept it is the measure of the time which the holy instant will be yours. So the more you learn to accept it, the more time you will spend in the holy instant. Call to you to make the holy instant yours at once. So don't wait and delay on time for the release from littleness in the mind of the host, pure formless awareness. A host of perfect love depends on willingness and not on time. Okay, you want to read that again from the top?
Your true self is available within the holy instant, as clear as you want it to be. And the extent to which you learn to accept it is the measure of the time in which the holy instant will be yours. I call to you to make the holy instant yours at once. For the release from littleness in the mind of the host of perfect love depends on willingness and not on time.
Okay. So, want to give a little summary of that?
It's saying that our real self is there to be found and encountered in the holy instant, and it's our decision when we want to accept that and connect with it and let go.
So the true self is available in this instant, in this now moment when we're willing to accept it.
Yeah.
And the key to the holy instant is willingness. It doesn't wait on time, it waits on willingness. So people say, how long is this going to take? And I say, well, as long as you want it to take. That's the truth of the matter. How willing are you to really let go and open your mind to the holy instant and really experiencing in the instant this grace of perfect love and peace and the knowledge of the true self that you are. Okay, so happy with that?
Yeah. So the reason this course is simple is that truth is simple. Complexity is of the ego, and there's nothing more than the ego's attempt to obscure the obvious. You could live forever in the holy instant, beginning now and reaching to eternity, but for a very simple reason. Do not obscure the simplicity of this reason, for if you do, it will be only because you prefer not to recognize it and not to let it go. The simple reason, simply stated, is this. The holy instant is a time in which you receive and give perfect communication. This means, however, that it is a time in which your mind is open, both to receive and give. It is the recognition that all minds are in communication. Therefore seeks to change nothing, merely to accept everything.
Okay, let's copy and paste this. I'm going to read the alternative.
The reason this course is simple is that truth is simple. Complexity is of the belief in separation and is nothing more than the belief in separation's attempt to obscure the obvious. You could live forever in the holy instant, beginning now and reaching to eternity, but for a very simple reason. Do not obscure the simplicity of this reason, for if you do, it will be only because you prefer not to recognize it and not to let it go. The simple reason, simply stated, is this. The holy instant is a time in which you receive and give perfect communication. This means, however, that it is a time in which your mind is open, both to receive and give. It is the recognition that all minds are in communication. It therefore seeks to change nothing, merely to accept everything.
Okay. I don't think we need any translation of those last ones.
I was intrigued.
Mind is open. Maybe your mind is open, your awareness is open. Your awareness is open, mind is open, awareness is open. What do you think?
I quite like mind, actually. Quite happy with mind.
Awareness is open. Your mind is open to both receive and give.
Yeah.
both give and receive.
Can we define what perfect communication is?
Perfect communication.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of it jumped out at me when I saw that.
To receive and give perfect communication.
He explains it. It's when your mind is open to both giving and receiving, and a state in which we choose to accept everything.
So we receive from source, receive the awareness of perfect love, pure formless awareness of perfect love into our awareness, and we give in the recognition that actually all minds are in communication, that actually everyone really in truth has this awareness. It seeks to change nothing, it's simply a recognition that this is already true. That every mind is one, really to accept everything. So I receive, so sort of inside outside, I receive the gifts, I feel the connection with source, that's the receiving, and then I give to others by recognizing that they're in communication, that all minds are already one, and that these are my companions, and I'm one with them. So I give them the love that I've received from my source to them.
Yeah.
Just through how I'm perceiving them. So you don't need to do anything necessarily on the physical level. It's just an openness to the awareness of pure formless awareness. So that's the receiving, and then from that state, you naturally give to your brothers because you see that they are one with you. They are part of that awareness.
Yeah.
Not really be separate. So then there's a sense of a giving to them. Having received, you then are able to give that same presence that you received to them, presence of love.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
And that's the perfect communication. You're giving and you're receiving, because ultimately giving and receiving are how we perceive oneness in this world. If there actually really is only one reality and nothing changes in that, then giving and receiving in this world are just a pointer to that fundamental reality where there's no giving and receiving. In perfect oneness, there's nothing to give and receive. It's simply one state of mind. And all of these lessons of giving and receiving are just baby steps in the right direction to ultimately full realization that yes, I am one. I am one with my source, I'm one with all my brothers, there is no separation. Okay?
Yeah.
So you're happy with giving and receiving that paragraph?
Yeah.
A little summary of that?
Yeah.
Number 6. What's he saying?
Well, it's saying that the whole instant is available to us in eternity, so long as we don't obscure it. And within the holy instant, we experience this perfect communication.
Yeah, so the holy instant relies on this perfect communication, and that's what the ego is terrified of. It doesn't want that perfect communication. But for a simple reason, or except for a simple reason.
I'm quite happy with either.
If you do, it will be only because you prefer not to recognize it not. Do not prefer to recognize it. Prefer not, I will keep it. Prefer not to recognize it. Not to let it go. Prefer not to recognize it and not to let it go. Okay, so we don't actually want to recognize or want to let go, which are the two steps in letting go. You must recognize what it is, that it's an illusion, you don't want it, and then the second step is to want to let it go. And we prefer not to do that because simple reason that he's pointing to is that the holy instant, being perfect communication, completely undoes the ego. In that instant, you realize the ego is non-existent.
Yeah.
And of course, it's going to resist that. The holy instant time which you receive and give perfect communication. It means, however, that it is a time in which your mind is open to both giving and receiving. So recognition that all minds are in communication, therefore seeks to change nothing but merely to accept everything. So yeah, it's the inside out. You accept it for yourself, you feel the oneness, and then you extend that as a perception to everyone and everything. And that's the receiving is the acceptance that yes, we are all one. I feel experientially the oneness, and then the giving is you change your mind about other people. And you see them as who you really are, as the one self. Okay, happy with number 6?
Yep.
All right, number 7. Gonna get this, number 7. All right. So if you read number 7.
How can you do this? How can you do this when you would prefer to have private thoughts and keep them? The only way you could do that would be to deny the perfect communication that makes the holy instant what it is. You believe you can harbor thoughts you would not share, and that salvation lies in keeping thoughts to yourself alone, or in private thoughts known only to yourself. You think you find a way to keep what you would have alone and share what you would share. And then you wonder why it is that you are not in full communication with those around you and with God who surrounds all of you together. Yeah, so this is the paragraph that is kind of jumping out at me. And I was listening to David Hoffmeister the other day talking about the holy instant and the importance of having no private thoughts. And what comes across to me, and I just can't get the when we have egoic thoughts about another, we need to acknowledge them, but they are coming from our ego. So I see no point in sharing recognizable egoic thoughts with another. Because all we're going to do is potentially trigger them. And to what avail? So if we know a thought is going to hurt another, we might, this is another instance, if we feel that a thought is going to hurt another, maybe we've said something along the similar lines before, but or maybe we just know that it's not appropriate to say it, then we don't, I don't see the point in, I see that as a private thought that needs to be recognized by us, by ourselves, but I don't see the point of sharing them, which seems to be what this paragraph is saying.
Yeah, I think he's talking about it on another level, saying private thoughts, really about not cherishing a thought, not holding it to yourself and going, oh, well, I'll keep. So let's say you have an attack thought.
Yeah.
And then you, I don't want anyone to know that. So I'll keep that to myself. Even though, I might be continuously having attack thoughts about someone. I don't want them to know. So then, in that movement of the mind, there's a separation, isn't there?
There is.
I don't want them to know because I'm ashamed of my thoughts.
Yeah.
So when you recognize it and you say, look, I don't want any private thoughts, doesn't mean you go and splurge it out necessarily and share it with them. So, well, actually, I just had an attack thought and I wanted to, stab you or hurt you or do whatever.
Yeah.
You just give it to the Holy Spirit. You say, okay, this is not a thought I want to keep.
Yeah.
It's a private thought, and private thoughts are not coming from God. It's not a happy thought. It's so I'm willing to let it go.
Yeah.
Then you have to, go and share it to the world and tell the person about whom you had the private thought about it. It's more a willingness in your own mind to say, I'm not going to hold on to that and keep it separate. So then we open our minds into correction of the Holy Spirit.
That makes sense, the way you've positioned it there, John.
Well,
David Hoffmeister didn't position it like that, actually.
well,
maybe he didn't get down to the detail.
What did he say about it?
Well, he just said, no private thoughts. It didn't. Well,
but there's a subtlety there, because on this level, that doesn't mean you go and tell everyone everything.
No, it doesn't. I mean,
there's some discernment. It doesn't mean you just splurge everything out. Oh well, no private thoughts. So I had a nasty thought about you. Well, no private thoughts, so I'm going to share it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but what you do for no private thoughts, you say, well, I'm not going to hold on to this. This is something I want to release.
Yeah.
I want to let this go, and I let it go to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
To be removed. I'm not gonna keep this and cherish my private thoughts. Whereas, if you're in the ego, you cherish your private thoughts. You actually want to keep thinking your private thoughts.
Yeah. And
so you go, well, I can think a bad thought about someone. I can nurture my resentment, my grievance towards them, and they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know what I'm thinking. So then that's okay. They don't know. So I keep thinking it. And then I'm holding on to the idea that it's a private thought, and that because they don't know, it's okay to think that thought. And that's a private thought.
Yeah.
When you have one of those thoughts and you say, no, this, I recognize what it is. This is a private egoic thought, and I'm willing to let it go
Yeah.
and allow my mind to be healed by the spirit. Then I'm not cherishing the private thought anymore. I'm actually I'm replacing it with a letting go, and then an awareness of oneness that, well, actually, I might have thought a private thought of being angry with someone, but I'm not going to hold on to that. I'm going to let it go and
Yeah.
allow this, pure formless awareness to restore to my mind the knowledge that I'm one with them, that there really is no, that private thought is of no consequence and meaning, because in truth I'm one with them. And there's nothing I can really do to separate myself.
And it does say that in this first sentence. It says, when you would prefer to have private thoughts and keep them.
Yeah, exactly. So that's sort of acknowledging, yes, you're going to have private thoughts, but you make an error. You make the error doubly erroneous when you decide to keep it. And the only way you could do that would be to deny the perfect communication that makes the holy instant what it is. So he's talking about communication on another level, not communication, with the body and voice and so on. He's talking about the perfect communication in the mind.
Yeah.
Makes the holy instant what it is. So we can actually communicate with our source and then feel that we are also communicating with our brothers, our companions, because they are also connected to the source. And this is what it means to give and receive. And the private thoughts comes in because if we hold private thoughts, we separate ourselves. By definition, you've just in your mind separated yourself, and then you're not in perfect communication. You're not giving and receiving the love of God. You've got another idea of separation going on.
Yeah.
Right? Does that kind of
Yeah, it does. It does.
clarify?
Yeah. That's very helpful, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, anything else there that stands out for you?
No. I think it's much clearer now.
Share what you would share. And why it is that you're not in full communication with those around you. It's God who surrounds all of you together. Okay, so we need to just do a translation there. I'm going to read the translation.
How can you do this when you would prefer to have private thoughts than keep them? The only way you could do that would be to deny the perfect communication that makes the holy instant what it is. You believe you can harbor thoughts you would not share, and that the awakening, salvation, and that the awakening lies in keeping thoughts to yourself alone.
Yeah. Okay, let's change. Harbor thoughts. Put the you there. And then awakening. Harbor thoughts. You do not want to share. Awakening lies in keeping thoughts to yourself alone. Yeah.
Yeah. For in private thoughts known only to yourself, You think you find a way to keep what you would have alone and share what you would share. And then you wonder why it is that you are not in full communication with those around you and with pure formless awareness of perfect love who surrounds all of you together.
Maybe which surrounds all of you together. So the issue really here is your intention.
Yes. Yeah.
Intentional, do I want to keep this thought? I want to cherish this private thought and keep thinking it. And when I do that, then I separate myself off from the whole. And then, then I wonder why it is that I'm not in full communication with those around me, because I just separated myself off from the whole in my awareness. It's not a very smart thing to do. Okay, so do you want to give a little summary of that?
Yes. Beware of harboring negative thoughts because they will separate you from your brothers, comrades. Brothers.
Yeah, and keeping them. So if you have a negative thought, well, that happens from time to time.
Yeah.
But then don't hold on to it. Be willing to let it go.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you have to tell them about it. You just let it go and you say, I don't want to hold any kind of private thought.
Yeah.
Because if you think about anything negative, it's a thought you wouldn't really want to share, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're thinking something negative, okay, I actually feel a bit ashamed about that, so I don't want to share it to the person because they're going to get upset. And I'm not thinking a nice thoughts about them. So that's the private thoughts are thoughts of separation and are thoughts that we class as negative thoughts. So if you want to hold on to those, then private thoughts will have power over you because you're giving them the power. You're holding on to the separation. But the holy instant is saying, well, you can release these. The moment you let go and say, no, I don't want that, I'm willing to let it go, you then open your mind to receiving love, pure formless awareness of perfect love, and then in that moment extending it to your brothers as well, and going, actually, I'm not separate. I don't want to think that. I'm actually one with you. And then there's the merging, the oneness, and private thoughts will disappear. So I think he's just highlighting it's a device of the ego mind to maintain the separation. And you just have to see it for what it is and don't buy the program. Just let it go, and then you're not harboring. Then whether you share it with another person or not, it's not a private thought anymore because you let it go. Also, I think it's the privacy, keeping it to yourself from the Holy Spirit, from the remembrance of oneness.
Yes. Yeah.
Also the aspect of private thought. So you're not willing to take it to the Spirit, take it to that awareness, remembrance of oneness, and say, I'm not going to keep this to myself. Please, help me to remove this. And almost certainly, you'll get the response if you do that. When you ask for guidance, then you get it. So it's a useful idea. In fact, it's in the Living Miracles community, it's one of the two principles on which they base their community. No private thoughts and no people pleasing. So that means you don't harbor any private thoughts, because all the negativity comes from private thoughts.
Yeah.
And then if you need to express something, you do, or you just let it go. You go, I'm not holding that thought. I'm going to let it go. Well, I don't have to tell the person who I was holding private thoughts about. I just let it go, and then I'm no longer holding it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's another way of framing what the ego does. It's a private. The ego's thoughts are always private, and using that privacy, using our private thoughts to maintain itself.
Yeah. Good. That's very helpful. Actually, that's clarified that, because it did stick in my mind the day when I was listening to David Hoffmeister.
Well, so he didn't really go into the.
He did not. He did not make that level of a distinction.
Oh. So it does require some discernment, I think, with these kinds of ideas, because if you take it literally, no private thoughts. So I have a thought about someone. Well, I've got to share it because private thoughts. So
You got mayhem.
out. And if you do that, you're probably likely to get into some trouble in this one. So all Yeshua is saying is let it go. Give it to the Holy Spirit. Don't hold on to it, and then it's no longer a private thought, because you're sharing it with the Holy Spirit, and you're letting it go. You're not wanting to hold on to it and cherish it.
Yeah.
Whereas every grievance, every negative thought really is a private thought. Fear, private thoughts, my own fear. Grievance, I have my own special grievance towards someone, something. It's all private thoughts, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just another way of framing the ego. So it's all private thoughts. Okay, so happy with number 7.
Yeah.
Moving on to 8.
The ego is incapable of understanding.
Wrong.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
We
Sorry.
launch into the where are we? Number 8. Yes, number 8.
Every thought you would keep hidden shuts communication
there we go.
off.
Yeah.
Every thought you would keep hidden shuts communication off, because you would have it so. It is impossible to recognize perfect communication while breaking communication holds value to you. I just want to read that again. It is impossible to recognize perfect communication while breaking communication holds value to you. Ask yourself honestly, would I want to have perfect communication? And am I wholly willing to let everything that interferes with it go forever? If the answer is no, then the Holy Spirit's readiness to give it to you is not enough to make it yours, or you are not ready to share it with Him. And it cannot come into a mind that has decided to oppose it. For the holy instant is given and received with equal willingness, being the acceptance of the single will that governs all thought.
Okay. So let's just go fetch that. Actually, nearly done. Okay. So. Yeah, so you want to read the translation?
Yeah. Every thought you would keep hidden shuts communication off, because you would have it so.
Okay, so let's, you want to keep hidden. Because you want it so.
Every thought you want to keep hidden shuts communication off because you want it so. It is impossible to recognize perfect communication while breaking communication holds value to you. Ask yourself honestly, do I want to have perfect communication? And am I wholly willing to let everything that interferes with it go forever? If the answer is no, then the remembrance of perfect love's readiness to give it to you is not enough to make it yours, but you are not ready to share it with him.
Share it with it.
It.
Hmm.
And it cannot come into a mind that has decided to oppose it. For the holy instant is given and received with equal willingness, being the acceptance of the single will that governs all thought.
Hmm. So yeah, he's actually just clarifying. He's saying what I've just talked about.
Yeah.
Remembrance of perfect love's readiness. Give it to you is not enough to make it yours. If you're not ready to share it with it, you're not ready to share it with this remembrance, is what he means. You're not readiness to give it to you. Readiness to give it to you. To want to have perfect communication. Not enough to make it yours, for you're not ready to share communication with this remembrance. That's much better, I think, than it. To share communication with this remembrance. So a private thought separates you from this remembrance of oneness. You say, I don't want to give this up. I don't want to let it go. And communicate with this voice for oneness. Instead, I prefer to keep the private thoughts.
Yeah, that's good.
So he's bringing in the Holy Spirit, the remembrance of oneness here, to help you to deal with the private thoughts and let them go. And this is part of the communication that happens in the holy instant. Cannot come into a mind that has decided to oppose it. The holy instant is given and received with equal willingness, being the acceptance of the single will that governs all thought. We need to translate any of that. The single will that governs all thought. Maybe the awareness. The single awareness, I think. What do you think?
The holy instant is given and received with equal willingness in the acceptance of the single awareness that governs all thought. Yeah, fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you want to read that from the top? Just make sure it all makes sense and give a little summary.
Every thought you want to keep hidden shuts communication off because you want it so. It is impossible to recognize perfect communication while breaking communication holds value to you. Ask yourself honestly, do I want to have perfect communication, and am I wholly willing to let everything that interferes with it go forever? If the answer is no, then the remembrance of perfect love's readiness to give it to you is not enough to make it yours. For you are not ready to share communication with this remembrance. And it cannot come into a mind that has decided to oppose it. For the holy instant is given and received with equal willingness, being the acceptance of the single awareness that governs all thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give a little summary of that.
Is saying that perfect communication is open to us, but we need to not harbor negative private thoughts at any time, and we can never have this if we are in two minds.
Well, so we must be willing to open our minds to this presence, remembrance of perfect love, and not oppose it. Be willing to accept it and give it. Acceptance of the single awareness that governs all thought. Accepting that only that awareness is true, nothing else is true, so my private thoughts and delusions really mean nothing. So the remembrance of oneness is the reference point that you bring all of your perceptions to, willing to judge them in that light. So, is this in accordance or not?
Oh, sorry, John, I'm drifting away.
Yeah, well, we're nearly there. Almost a bit tight.
Yeah.
So let's finish it off, shall we? Number 9. Alternatively, we've got to get the right thing. Number 9. Okay.
The necessary condition for the holy instant does not require that you have no thoughts that are not pure. So he is expanding on this idea now. But it does require that you have none that you would keep. Innocence is not of your making. It is given you the instant you would have it. At one moment would not be if there were no need for it. You will not be able to accept perfect communication as long as you would hide it from yourself. For what you would hide is hidden from you. In your practice, then, try only to be vigilant against deception, and seek not to protect the thoughts you would keep to yourself. Let the Holy Spirit's purity shine them away, and bring all your awareness to the readiness for purity he offers you, for the purity he offers you. Thus will he make you ready to acknowledge that you are host to God, and hostage to no one and to nothing.
Okay. So let's do the translation.
Yep. The necessary condition for the holy instant does not require that you have no thoughts that are not pure, but it does require that you have none that you would keep. Innocence is not of your making. It is given you it is given you the instant you would have it. At one moment.
Let's change it to the instant you want it. Much simpler than you would have it.
Yeah. It is given you the instant you want it. At one moment would not be if there were no need for it. You will not be able to accept perfect communication as long as you would hide it from yourself. For what you would hide is hidden from you. In your practice, then, try only to be vigilant against deception and seek not to protect the thoughts you would keep to yourself.
So do not seek.
Let the remembrance of perfect love's purity shine them away. Bring all your awareness to the readiness for purity it offers you.
Bring all your awareness to the readiness for purity. I wonder if we can make that a bit simpler. And what about be wholly ready?
Yeah.
Be wholly ready for the purity it offers you.
Thus will it make you ready to acknowledge that you are host, the pure formless awareness of perfect love, and hostage to no one and to nothing.
Be wholly ready in your awareness for the purity it offers you. And that's what will make you ready. So you're happy with this?
Yeah.
That's will it make you ready to acknowledge you are host to pure formless awareness of perfect love and hostage to no one and to nothing. Okay.
Yeah. Good.
So I want to read it from the top, make sure we're happy with that, give a little summary.
The necessary condition for the holy instant does not require that you have no thoughts that are not true, pure. But it does require that you have none that you would keep. Innocence is not of your making. It is given you the instant you want it. At one moment would not be if there were no need for it. You will not be able to accept perfect communication as long as you want to hide it from yourself. But what you want to hide is hidden from you. In your practice, then, try only to be vigilant against deception. And do not seek to protect the thoughts you want to keep to yourself. Let the remembrance of perfect love's purity shine them away. And be wholly ready in your awareness of the purity it offers you. Thus will it make you ready to acknowledge that you are host of pure formless awareness of perfect love, and hostage to no one and to nothing.
Okay, so what's it saying? Summary.
Well, I think it's just amplifying again the need. It's saying that we can have negative thoughts, but we must not harbour them. Because if we do, we get in the way of perfect communication, block ourselves from the instant, from the holy instant, and separate ourselves from our brother.
Yeah. So he clarifies that private thoughts idea in the subsequent paragraphs. You said you had a question in number 9 as well, is that right?
Yeah, we've answered it actually. Yes, what was it? It was. Yeah. No, we've answered it, John, because it was answered in paragraph 7, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So just not wanting to hold the private thought, giving it over, letting it go, and allowing the Holy Spirit, the remembrance of oneness, to come in. Instead, is then letting go of private thoughts. Whether you share those with someone else or not doesn't make any difference. Most of the time, you won't. You'll just deal with it yourself. But you're not holding the thought. You're not cherishing it and keeping yourself separate from oneness by doing that. That's really the key.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a very, very good point, actually.
Okay. So what we generally do, just to wrap this up, is a little personalized executive summary.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which is really not, you're not trying to summarize like in any kind of formal way necessarily, because the text speaks for itself, but just trying to give a kind of take on it and say, okay, well,
Yeah. Okay.
key message of the section is that
The holy instant.
Yeah.
The key message of this section is that the holy instant is there for us to enter into as soon as we totally wish to do so. Only our decisions to go with littleness, only our considerations, only our attachment to littleness.
And then this is there for me. So the idea is, if it's personalized, you make it into the first person because then it's applicable to you. So the idea is to make it, like practical. So you take, like, what's your key takeaway that you can actually apply from this section?
So for me to enter into as soon as I totally want to do so.
Only my attachment.
As I totally choose to do so.
Into. The holy instance is there for me to, let me just experience into. So there for me to experience as soon as I totally choose to do so. Totally want to do so, totally choose to do so.
I kind of like choose because it's a bit it's a bit active.
Yeah. As soon as I wholly choose to do so. Only my.
And how about for me to instead of experience to enter into?
Yeah, I know you had that. I thought experience would be something.
All right. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
What we're trying to do here is make it very, very simple and practical. Yeah, okay, so enter into the holy instance. What does that mean? Someone might go, what is
Yeah.
that?
Okay. Yeah.
There for me to experience. Okay, so it's an experience. I'm experiencing this holy instant of just oneness. And I experience that. I've entered into it, if you want to use flowery language, but I'm experiencing this holiness, this sense of oneness. Because I wholly choose to do so. This is actually the only experience I really want. Okay, and then only my attachment
to littleness only my attachment to littleness and my preference to nurture negative thought can prevent me.
Well, we need somewhere about private thoughts here, because that was quite a major.
Yeah.
So hold on to private thoughts. From the full communication of giving and receiving, something like that. Full communication of giving and receiving love that is the condition of experiencing the holy instant. Condition for experiencing. Well, anything else you want to say? And this will make me this full communication full communication experience of full communication help me to acknowledge that I'm pure formless awareness of perfect love and hostage to no one and to nothing. Hostage, we could change to victim possibly. What do you think?
Yeah.
Hostage.
Victim is better.
And victim to no one and to nothing. And a pure formless awareness of perfect love and not a victim of other people, circumstances. Okay, read that through. Let's make sure we're happy with that.
Yeah. The key message of this section is that the holy instant is there for me to experience as soon as I wholly choose to do so. Only my attachment to littleness and my choice to hold on to private thoughts can prevent me from the full communication of giving and receiving love. That is the condition for experiencing the holy instant. This experience of full communication with my source will help me to acknowledge that I am pure formless awareness of perfect love and not a victim of other people and circumstances.
I think that's quite a good summary.
It is. Yeah.
Got the essence of it in a paragraph.
Yeah.
So well done.
Well done, you, John. Yeah.
All good. And we've got that done for next year. I remember doing that. The translation's done, and the executive summary's done, and hopefully it brings even more clarity. You can look at it again. So I think we all good. Practicing the holy instant. Do you want to do a meditation, John?
If I close my eyes, I'll be asleep, John.
Oh, okay. You want to skip it?
I think I wouldn't stay with it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just do a 1-2 minute closing, just to switch off. So just close your eyes briefly. Take a nice deep breath in. Let's breathe in. Invite the holy instant in this moment just to come in and correct your mind. There's a receiving, so receiving perfect love, pure formless awareness of perfect love. It's an open, expansive, spacious awareness in your mind. You allow that to come in. Just feel like a sense of release. The mind is just dropping all of its burdens, coming into this really pure formless awareness. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Just breathe in and connect with this deeper presence. Presence of love, the remembrance of love that is coming into your awareness. You're inviting it in. As you do that, you heal the separation. And then have a sense as you exhale of extending it outwards to everything in your life. So whoever you interact with, Sue and family, friends, that you really aren't separate. This is one awareness. Feel that oneness. You're not holding on to any private thoughts that separate you from that awareness. You're just allowing it to really sit in your mind. So you're going to carry this awareness, the holy instant, with you for the rest of today and on into your day tomorrow. So it is said and so it is done. Breathe in again, breathe in the love, the gratitude, just in and resolve to stay there. So, if you're going to do another practice, getting quite late, maybe you're going to go straight to bed, but just to stay there during the night on into tomorrow. So it is said, so it is done, and then open your eyes and continue on with your evening in this hopefully very restful, connected state.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, only a pleasure. I thought we did quite well, eh? So we're both tired, but we got through the whole thing, and I think we got a good translation and a good personalized executive summary.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, so well done. Okay, so you're going to join.
I won't be here. I won't be with you tomorrow. I'm playing golf.
Right. Okay, no problem. Enjoy your golf, stay in flow.
Yeah.
And I'll see you on, where are we? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday, hopefully. Thursday afternoon, maybe, or Thursday evening.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Joe. Namaste. Sleep
Thanks,
well.
John. Okay. You too.